Hey folks, this is Banbit, and today I'm standing in for Motivatar to make the English voiceover for this video. I'm not a native speaker either, so please excuse any bad pronunciations and my accent. Going forward, I'll be reading his script from his perspective, and I hope you enjoy the video. Today I'm making a short video to teach you how to build your first map for Battlefield Portal using Godot. Before we start, a few notes and clarifications. I don't usually make tutorial videos, so I hope this will be useful to you. I was lucky enough to try the tools early, thanks to Ripple Effect and the Battlefield Studios, and I want to share what I learned, the basics of Portal map creation. This is my first tutorial on Portal and map building, so it may get updates later, especially if the SDK or workflow changes. Should that happen, I will pin a comment on this video, or if the changes are big enough, I'll make a new video and link it in the description. In this video, I'll cover the core basics to understand the tool. First steps first, if you haven't already, download the SDK. You will find it in the description or on the Battlefield 6 website. Once it's downloaded, unzip it to any folder. The contents should look something like this. Three things matter right away. First, the README. It's packed with tips. A lot of what I say here is also in there, so I strongly recommend reading it. If the SDK or workflow changes later, that's likely where you see it. Next is the Godot project folder. Inside you will see subfolders and a Godot project file. I will show you how to use that in a second. There's also the level folder, which contains all the maps by codename, and an add-ons folder with Portal Dev add-ons. This is also where you can drop the custom add-ons I will share later on. Now let's jump in. Launch Godot from its executable. You will get a small pop-up. Now drag and drop the Battlefield Portal.Godot project file into it. Click to open and it will initialize the Portal project. It can take a little while, so please be patient. When it's done, use the BF Portal add-on the devs provide and click Portal Setup. That configures Godot for Battlefield Portal map creation. When setup finishes, click Object Library. Here you can browse all available objects and place them on Battlefield maps. The library can take a moment to load, so please be patient again. Clicking Portal Setup also generates the asset thumbnails. Sometimes after restarting Godot, thumbnails disappear or every item shows the same thumbnail. If that happens, just click Portal Setup again. After the Portal setup finishes, open a map, then click on Scene, Open Scene Level, then pick any codenamed map, say for example Tungsten, and open it. Important note, with the Portal SDK in Godot, we are not using Godot as a game engine itself. We are using it as a spatial editor to place things on the map, export them and use them in Battlefield in the Battlefield engine. By default, the map only has a few elements, for example the combat area. If I open it and click Collision Polygon, you will see the map's out-of-bounds areas. Editing is very simple. Drag the points to reshape it. In points you can delete vertices. If you want a simple 4-point area, keep 4 and make a square. You can shape the player area just around, say for example the construction buildings. You can also add points to refine the shape and of course move the whole area as needed. Next, static, the terrain and assets. This is a rough visual of the map, which is why rocks and terrain look low quality and many textures are missing. Right now you can't remove map objects or edit the terrain. What you can do instead though is adding 3D objects and gameplay objects. You will see Team HQ1 and Team 2 HQ, these are gameplay elements. To find more, go to Objects and then Gameplay. You will see categories like AI to spawn AI, add waypoints, etc. You can also see the Conquest Capture Point, or here is the Rush MCOM. I won't go deep into coding in here, but if you or someone on your team handles gameplay scripting for your mod, this is where you'll find the gameplay pieces. One key rule though, when you place an object in a scene, it must be a .tscn object. For example, if I want to spawn an Abrams tank, you'll see both Abrams.tscn and Abrams.glb. The .glb is just the 3D mesh reference. It's a raw model and can't be added directly to the scene. Delete that and place the .tscn here. Abrams TSCN and boom, we've spawned a tank. About assets. Not every asset is allowed on every map. You will notice the library is split per map. If I'm on Battery for example and try to place a control tower, it may show up as not allowed because that tower only exists on other maps. It's a limitation for performance reasons because the more unique assets you add to a map, the more expensive it gets. Because of this, they restrict the objects to ones already present on that map. However, there are several categories and especially two that are available across sublibraries, for example the FX, which are visual effects, and SFX, which is sounds. You can place them and call them in your code anywhere. Now that we've covered Portal and the spatial editor, let's talk Godot basics. The first thing you might notice, when you try to place an asset, it floats in front of the camera, and that's pretty annoying. To fix this, go to Static, then Terrain or Asset, right-click on Editable Children, right-click the mesh, Editable Children again, in Terrain select Mesh, and then Create Collision Shape as a static body child of Mesh. Finally, click Create to generate a terrain collision. You will see a new Tri-Mesh Collider around the terrain. Now if I try to place my AI spawner, it snaps onto the ground instead of floating. You can do this on assets too, but assets are a little bit more detailed, so generating collisions can take longer depending on your PC. Once it's done, we can place objects directly on map assets. If you are lagging or simply don't need a feature, you can also delete the collision to improve performance a bit. Next up, camera controls. Hold right click and move the mouse to look around. While holding right click, use WASD to move. Still holding right click, use W plus mouse wheel to change camera speed. Use Q and E to move up and down. Object controls, drag and drop to place. You can rotate, move up and down or left and right. The colored handle you're using is called the gizmo. Every asset has an origin point, and the transform shows the numeric position, rotation and scale that match your gizmo moves. Important for Portal, if you unlock that little scale link and scale non-uniformly, the object won't walk and won't appear in Portal, at least at the time of this video. Keep the link locked and use uniform scale, all three numbers must match. You can still scale objects very large, they'll appear giant in the map, but keep it uniform. Next up, shortcuts. Ctrl plus D duplicates an object at its current position, so you will need to move the copy so they don't overlap and you can actually see the object. Shift plus G lets you place an object where your mouse points at your cursor, which is pretty handy to avoid having to use the gizmo. Next, press F to focus an object, pretty useful if you've lost it in a scene somewhere. Also, the T key toggles how the gizmo behaves. When local space is on, moving the object also moves the gizmo orientation, which is great for relative moves. But sometimes, say you want to move it strictly to the right, that can be tricky in local space. So press T to switch or uncheck the local space and move it more easily along the world axis. To stay organized, you can also click the plus button and add a node 3D. This one basically acts like a group or folder you're used to from our software. By default, it spawns pretty far away, so press F to find it if you're lost. You can also use Shift plus G-click to place it near you, then drag your objects into that node to keep things tidy. That gives you a pretty clean group. To finish the basics, let's export the map. Before exporting, I recommend deleting any temporary objects you generated that aren't part of Portal itself. For example, remove the ground collision we created earlier. You will do the same later for some plugin helper elements, clean them up so only Battlefield Portal approved objects remain. You can also open the memory tool plugin, hit refresh, and it will show you how many objects are in the scene and the memory used. If you have extra clutter on the map, that's how you spot it. To export, then click on Battlefield Portal, export current level, click it, and you're done. You will find the file via the Open Export. This .json file is what you will upload on the Battlefield Portal website for the same map you selected and modified. Pick the same map, then upload the file. And that's all the basics you need to start building maps in Battlefield Portal. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and drop a comment. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. I will try to answer any in the comments. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, see you soon in Portal.